Hello, you're welcome. My name is Ssebuyungo Wilber. In this video, we're going to look at the use of SPSS. The SPSS that I'm using is version 27. There are also SPSS that versions that are actually of a lower version than this 27 that I'm using, but SPSS is all the same regardless of the versions you're using. So you need to have downloaded the SPSS on your computer to be able to follow through very well. But in this, we are going to actually see how to enter data in SPSS by setting it up, and also be able to set some simple analysis of this data. So for now, I have opened my SPSS. When SPSS is opened, it displays with a spreadsheet format with no data. This data that you're seeing here that has age group and all these age and ages, I've just entered this data. I've pre-entered it for you so that you can follow. But you can see that when I type here below and I put something like my name, I put in something like my name, I just type it there like you do to Excel. Though to be careful, you've seen that I've typed my name here, space, and SPSS is not allowing to register it, and is telling me variable name contains an illegal character. So there are some rules that SPSS follows to accept names, and those rules we are going to see them. So to be careful, there are two views here. When you open your SPSS, there's what we call variable view that I'm clicking here down, and also there is also what we call data view. When I click, you'll see data view and then variable view. Now when you open up your SPSS and it is vacant, so you first go to the variable view, and in the variable view you will see file, edit, view, data, transform, analyze. Those buttons up there will display, and then here it is vacant as you're seeing it in your opened SPSS page. Now, while entering data in SPSS, we are actually entering questionnaires which we have administered to our respondents. The way those questionnaires are structured, usually questionnaires are structured in sections. Section 1 is about biodata. Section 2 is for objective 1, data collected from objective 1 of your research. And section you usually label them by section A, section B for objective 1, section C and objective 2, and we continue like that. So for section 1, which has biodata, or section A, we could be having biodata about age. So I'm labeling it here age group. But remember that SPSS, when you're typing a name here in the column like a name, you don't space. When you space, that name is disqualified, because the rules of using SPSS names is without spaces. So I'm removing between age and group. I've deleted the space so that name is accepted. When I don't space, that name will not be accepted. That's why it is repairing it and creating a pair of the age group. Now, SPSS, when we are having type of data, we usually use numerical data. And we say numerical data for research because we want all the data to be transformed into numbers. Even if they are words, they could be understood in terms of numbers. Then we name the number, we tag it with a name. So it is numeric here. The width of this width stands for how wide do you want the for example, a number to go, or the word to be, we are saying let it be up to 8, but you can also expand it beyond it, or you can also expand it beyond 8 to any number you want, or below 8. Decimals, that's when you want the decimals. For example, if you want point nothing and the digit is only 2, then you don't need to put point is 1, point 2. So the decimal places will be 0. But you can also increase the decimal place to 1 if you want a number to be 2.1 or 2.0 or 1.0. If you want it to only appear 1, then you just put no decimal place. So I've selected for all, no decimal place for my case. Then age, I'm saying this label, where there is age group, I can label it as age. The labels here are the ones that will be actually reflected on your figures, in your charts, in your graphs. Those are the ones we call labels. You remember when you're dealing with charts and figures, you have what you call data labels. So those labels are the ones that will be considered in making your charts. So now I'm looking at age group. I can say let us have our age group here, and our age group, let it be age group here. I'd already pre-typed there and said age group 1, let it be age group 1, let it be between 19 to 23 years, depending on the age group we are working with. Age 2, let it be 24 to 28, and age group 3, let it be 29 to 33. So that when the person is, we has ticked 2, we shall know that person is aged between 24 to 28, other than the person actually just mentioning their age and 25 years old. We just consider these ranges. So for that consideration, how do we enter data labels? Because these ones I already entered them. Let me just delete what I've entered here and consider, and this I remove it, and also this I also remove it, and then that I also remove it, so that you can see how I'm entering the data labels. Because when yours, you'll be having none, provided you enter the name, that column will be filled with some, like here will be none as a default. So there we putting the data label. Let the person who says number 1 be between 19 to 23. Then we say add, that is accepted. Then 2 should be between 24 to, the other one was going to up to 28. Yeah. Then we said yes, okay, add. Then number 3, let the people also say okay. Number 3, let the people be 29 to 33. Yes. If you want 4, another option 4, and then say above, let the label be above 33. Above 33. Okay. No, don't say okay. Above 33. Number 4 is above 33, and say add, then say okay. So these data labels are already reflected there. So when the person says 4 will be, we shall know that one is above 33. Missing, nothing is missing, and no value will be missing. And then number of columns, you can accept 8 as a default, because usually the number of columns in dealing with data does not exceed 8. If you want your data to be aligned center or left, the other one we said center. We've said center here because we want our figures to be in the middle. Like this one, number 8 here is already left aligned, so we are saying center. Now age group, we can assign a number. We can assign a number to age group, so age group can keep on varying. The previous level can be higher than the current level. So when the age or anything that can change over time, we call it nominal. But when it cannot change and remains the same, we call it ordinal data. For example, age can change over time, and people's opinions can also be changing over time because of the age. So age itself is nominal, so we are calling it nominal data. And then, so here there is a drop down for you to select among which there is ordinal, nominal, and scale. So we are selecting nominal instead. We are selecting nominal. Then gender, I've pre-entered this word gender here by just typing it. And then good. Width 8, decimal nothing. That has called this the labels B on all the charts and all the graphs and in all our analysis be labeled gender. You usually choose a short and simple, precise name to describe what you want. Longer names, longer labels will be very monotonous on your graphs, but short ones are good. Then gender that is in 2. I can also, there is a drop down here. For you to click and it opens, there are those 3 dots in the corner, and usually it lights green. When you click on them, it displays where you can enter. I'd already entered here. Let me remove what I'd entered. And this time, let me say a person who is saying number 1 will be a male. Add. The one who selects number 2 will be female. Good. Female. Then I say okay, let those labels, those values be accepted. All this centered, and then I say gender does not change over even time. So gender is ordinal data, though we are calling it, we have labeled it 1 and 2, but that data is ordinal. It's ordinal. So we can't say that because the person has is more, we can't say that someone is more female than male, or someone is more female in this time and last time was less female. So that's why we are calling it ordinal. But here we are putting something called salary scale. We wanted also to capture people's salary scale and how they feel about their salary. So this one could be salary. In names we don't put a space, but in labels you can put spaces. That rule does not work for labels. So we can now see that salary here I had pre-entered and said let someone feel that the salary is low, moderate, or high. So those are 3 options. These ones I also just typed number 1, the value is 1, then the label is low, then said okay, add, like that, like we've done previously. That's where you see that in salary scale we have low 1, moderate 2, and high 3. So nominal is this salary scale nominal? Yes, it is nominal data because it can change over time. The salary can change over time. Then we also have here we wanted to ask a question about staff motivation and see about people's salary payment. If they are saying the salary is that low or moderate or high, we want to see whether it is coming in salary payment is timely. Okay, so here I said salary question 1. Let me say salary question 1 is about salary payment is timely. Then here I put a scale of 5. This is a Likert scale. Members, a Likert scale in the questionnaires, a Likert scale can appear like, let me see here, one of the questionnaire that has a Likert scale. Okay, this is a Likert scale of 5, though the questions are not corresponding to what we are discussing in the SPSS, but this is a salary scale of 5 where when one says SD, like up you see here, 1 means strongly disagree, SD. 2 disagree, that's the D. If someone ticks off and says 3, then the person is not sure, or others call it neutral. 4 agree, that's A. 5 strongly agree, that's SA. That's a Likert scale of 5. So that is what we are capturing in our SPSS by question. For example, if this was a question offering teachers who teach local languages, possibly this question is not very specific. But if the question was like ours, we have used in here. Salary payment is timely. Then the person says, this is the Likert scale upon which the person will have to select and say something within these limits. You either say number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So if the person takes off SD, then we know that person is number 1, is having a vote 1, where the person is not actually is strongly disagreeing. So we've also entered these labels. Let me just remove one label, remove 5, and I add it 5. Let it be strongly agree, and say add it. I've added 5, and then say okay. Let those labels be entered. However, this is a scale from which we can even easily get mean and the standard deviation. So even with some nominal data, we can also get mean. Yes, we can get mean for nominal data. But you cannot get mean for ordinal data, that the mean gender is this, no. But you can have mean age, you can have mean salary scale. Yeah, you can have their mean. And people are moderate, the mean is moderate or high. So that we are calling this data scale because we are using the Likert scale. The Likert scale we have used is of 5, but there are also Likert scales of 4. where neutral is eliminated. Yes or no questions are also scale questions. Yes or no. For example, if they say they pay me on time and then the question is yes or no, we would come here and say number one is yes, number two, no, the labels. Then say okay. Okay. If there is another question, possibly it is also about payment. You see the Likert scale, that table does not only have one question. Payment number question 2. You see these are pre-entered. The default decimal place is 2, but you can lower it to 0 by typing it there or using that drop down. And say and then I want another salary question which is about salary. Then I want to ask a question about people's salary and say salary is what question can we ask about salary? For this case, we could even ask, I want to say there is segregative salary payment. Possibly there are some people who are paid and they are really they are not paid basing on productivity but basing on some kind of biases. So if it is segregation, I'm saying that the scale will be 5, and the first one will be strongly disagree, 2 agree. Oh, it was disagree. I edit it. It was D. Change. I've changed it. Okay. Let me add more labels. 3, it is neutral. 4, it is agree. Add it. 5 is strongly agree. Add it and say okay. Yes, let this also be centered and let us have this as a scale as well. Good. Maybe this there is segregative salary. I can say there is fair salary. Was it just salary payment or fair salary payment? You could get the best word in your questionnaire so that they don't bring about doubt or the ambiguous. The respondent cannot actually easily interpret them. So now we have 5 here, 5 aspects we have looked at in our questionnaire. These 5 aspects, when we go to data view, remember we've been setting up our data in variable view. When we go to data view, they become where we've seen names here. Those are names of columns. So Here we've now seen that we have 5 columns. This data here is data I've had pre-entered. I want to remove it so that I can enter with you. I can enter the data with you. So when it comes to data view, this is where exactly we are entering data that has been answered or responded to by the participant. A questionnaire is what we are going to enter here, the data from the questionnaire. The questionnaire is here in a variable view. The data that is put in the questionnaire by marking of the respondent. Yes, please. It's okay. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm finalizing. So here we are going to enter a little of some data. Let us say the age group of the first respondent. What is the age of the first respondent? Age group 1. And then the gender, the respondent is female, so is 2. And the salary scale, the respondent is saying, yeah, very high, is high. That's 3. Remember, I'm getting those from what we have entered here. We said that the scale for salary here is high 3. Yeah, high 3. So because when I put 3 here, it means the person is saying high. And then the person's question number 1. What has the person said on question number 1? Has said I agree. Agree is number 4 on the scale. And then the person also has said here in question number 2, the person has really has said strongly disagree, number 1. Then respondent 2, we go to another questionnaire and the answer. This one was actually number 1, age group. Age group is in group 2, and then gender is a male, and then salary scale is saying 2. This one is saying neutral, and then in the other question is saying I agree 4. Respondent number 3 is saying my age group is age group 3, and then gender, yeah, let me put number 1. Then I'm also saying scale 2. This one is saying number 5 is strongly agreeing, and also here number 2. Okay. Respondent 3, we got like that. Let me enter only 6 respondents. So I've entered only 6 respondents here, and the 6 respondents I've entered are there. So let me try to make sure we analyze some data and run a chart Let us have, can we have graphs? Let us have analyze our data. Let us have frequencies, descriptives. I'm going under analyze, then descriptives with frequencies, and I'm saying I want this for gender. Can I also have for salary? And saying let me have the chart, which is a bar graph with frequencies, and then